The following program is made possible with the support of
Papa John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sports Roundtable. I'm Marty Fuhrer. Glad you're with us. 3 exciting games to show you highlights of, and let's get right into the high school football. It was homecoming, a special night at Laney, and Coach, 2-0 in the conference. I know you're pleased with how this team stood up on the big stage.
Yes. We had a very good turnout. The crowd was electric, and the kids showed up Friday night. Real proud of the efforts. It was a tough game in that fourth quarter, but we ended up pulling it out, and that's one of the things that I'm proud of, to see this team, take those adverse situations and just, fight through them. You can tell, when it got tied up in the fourth that, it was no way, no how that those guys were gonna quit or give up.
So I guess that's in many ways the development of this team, because early on, when all of a sudden it became close or somebody took a lead, they kept it. Now 2 straight weeks, you guys respond with adversity.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that we're trying to, show up, get fixed, is just finishing, making sure that we put teams away when we get the opportunity. But like I said, that experience in the, that non-conference schedule, playing those tough teams, that has definitely helped us in the right direction.
Okay, we're heading to the highlights. We're heading over to Laney. Festive crowd, great football game, good start.
Absolutely. We started out on defense. This is going to be a big play by one of our sophomore defensive tackles, Deontay Hicks. He gets a pull, breaks off that block, and then puts the blocker away. Great finish by him. Celebration with his teammates. He can be special. He's one of those guys that strong in the weight room, just naturally strong. But some things that we still need to work on. Fine-tune some things. We had a sophomore quarterback starting the game. He didn't shy away from those Friday night lights. He was electric last night. Friday night as well. That's him on the option play, taking it down the sideline. Getting those guys fired up, and he did a great job of executing the offense. I'm real proud of the way he handled himself that night, and the way the team rallied around him for the victory. Here's a little screenplay. It was 3rd and long, and he needles it right in between a lot of those defenders. Those guys didn't get upfield like we thought they would on that third and long situation, and Amik Watkins just does a great job of reading his blocks and making something happen to get us a first down. Yeah, and like I said, he's a special kid. He does a great job with his vision, and the offensive line does a great job as well. They take pride in blocking for him. We got a lot of guys arguing about, wanting to get on the field, and that's awesome. From the team, those guys, fighting for that position and wanting to be out there. So he takes it in for the score there.
We're going to see another offensive series. Talk a little bit about your offensive line, because a subtle thing, all of a sudden you've got somebody different behind center.
Right.
Sounds different. Mechanics might be a little different, but the big guys that came up front and they just pushed off the ball.
Yes, sir. One of the things we try to do with our JV team, because he's an 8-quarter kid, he dresses on Friday but doesn't really play on Fridays. We try to run the same offense and run the same cadence that we do at the varsity level, and it carries over. That's one of the things that we had in the past, kind of a disconnect, but we fixed those things, and now it just kind of worked out real well. And like you said, it was a great job for the offensive line of picking up his cadence and doing some things well. We did have a lot of penalties that game that we definitely got to get fixed. Playing some of the better teams that can definitely hurt you. But overall, I'm proud of the resiliency of the football team. And again, there's Amik Watkins. Oh, excuse me, no, that's Jemias Beckett. Initially in the beginning of the year, he had some issues with holding on to the ball. We ended up, giving him some blocking assignments, and he just took to it real well. And we want to get him back involved, because as you can see, he can be a special player as well. He showed up Friday night with some great carries and some great blocks. He's not a selfish kid at all. He works his behind off, and he has a great attitude as well. He's a funny kid. Guys love and gravitate towards him. That was a great play there by number 56. He's also a sophomore defensive end. He works hard in the weight room. That's Ryan Dabrowski. He's going to be a special kid for us as well. Only a sophomore. So a lot of young talent on the football field. Once again, Meek Watkins, this is a third and long situation right here, reading his blocks and getting that first down for us. And a great job by the offensive line getting that pull and seal. Usually, on that blocking play there, we're supposed to kick, but that guy didn't get upfield, so we just sealed him off, and he did a great job of reading his blocks. And then, it's 13-14 here. He takes it in for the score. Great block by the fullback there, Austin Butner. He's also a sophomore. Like I said, we got a lot of young talent on the football field, but those guys have taken to it, and they grind every day. It was a great play again by Ryan Dabrowski with a sack. Guy, dropped the ball. Comes in and finishes the play off. So, great job by the guys all night long. Fighting for 4 quarters. And I got to give credit to South Brunswick too. They never gave up. They got a lot of guys going both ways, and they just kept fighting as well. They had a lot of guys nicked and bruised throughout the game, and they never gave up at all.
You mentioned something going both ways. The fact that you were able to have sustained drives, I would think definitely helped you when it came to the fourth quarter.
Absolutely. That's one of the things, that we do on the offensive side of the ball is we grind the football. With our defense not up to par where we want it to be right now, that definitely helps give those guys a breather, kind of, get us on the sideline to fix some things and make sure that we know our lineman assignment. So that's a great job by the offensive line and the offense.
Go to Topsail this week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Going to Topsail. They're a grinding kind of team. They're going to line up in I formation, tight end sets. Every now and then they'll get in one back, but they've got some pretty talented kids, and it's going to be another test Friday night.
And it could be a short game. I mean, they're going to run that clock.
Yes,
You're going
sir.
to run that clock, so every possession could be huge.
Very huge. We got to make sure that we hold on to the football, no turnovers, and those types of things. Just play sound, fundamental football.
Okay, Laney, 3-3 and 2-0 in conference play. Again, the Bucks will be just up the road at Topsail on Friday night. We'll continue on. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. One of the premier games, of course, this past weekend was Hoggard and Hanover, and Coach, really solid first half. Take advantage of it and jump out to that big lead.
Yeah, we sent the message all week. We had to have a fast start. I feel like our kids did a really good job of executing that. We kicked off. They got a couple first downs, but we were able to get a defensive stop and a couple big plays, tackles for loss and a sack in there that set the momentum for the offense. And our running game, our offensive line really came out executing right away, and Kevin Thompson was able to get some good runs off, drive it right down the field. So set the tone on the first 2 drives of the game, I felt.
Okay, we're going to take a look at some highlights if we can. Again, New Hanover at Hoggard, and you mentioned field position. You also took advantage when given the opportunity.
Yes, yeah. There were a couple times balls on the ground that we were able to get a hold of. You'll see some of that in here. But trying to keep them backed up. Here you can see that's Omar Jones, young player that's really starting to step up and make more and more plays for us. So big play in the first series. If I remember right, this is Julius Reynolds here. They got a big tight end. He's a big kid to bring down, and Julius just running and filling, doing what he does. So this is the end of that first possession right here. We've got an inside stun on. Oh, that one play before that. That was Julius Reynolds there coming through. He's really the captain of our defense. Just does a great job. Special kid.
So you put him behind the chains and sets up a play here.
Yeah. Now this is Traquan Williams, corner for us, first-year starter. I tell you, he had a special night. I mean, we put him on the one receiver side, and he came up and executed quite a bit. Now, again, this is what we're talking. This is first down, our offense's first play of the game, and the line setting a flank, receivers, fullback, everybody's getting in the blocking over there. So did a good job. A little jet sweep to Harrison here. He's a huge part of it. Kevin gets a lot of the headlines, but Harrison does a huge role in our offense. And we are coming back again. Inside power again. Seeing just the blockers working to the next level. You know, we really try to stress that, and they did a good job. Hunter Louthan getting in there, Patrick Morrison, some guys working to that next level. Here we are with a kickoff. I'm not mistaken, I think the ball gets put on one of our kids. I think Daniel Brunson here, number 50, goes down and punches a fumble out. Really stress kickoff coverage and go down, and ball comes out. Now they end up getting on it, but you can see how much that helps with our field position there. So our kickoff coverage was pretty good, but being able to punch that ball out was a huge play for us. And then that sets this up. This is Hakeem Michelle coming off the edge, just not quitting on the play. Ends up punching it out, and there's an offensive lineman that scoops it. You know, it's just kind of one of those odd plays. You know, lineman ends up with the ball, and luckily we were able to force another fumble and get it out of there. So 1st and goal from the 1, and actually I think it ended up being 2nd down before we punched it in. But, a little fire here, Hinton Carter getting him a pass there. A great kid, senior punter and holder. So I'd give him some notice on there. Hunter Louthan making the catch. Here we are on defense again. That's Jeremiah Andrews coming through. I tell you, he just gets better every week. Junior linebacker for us. Very athletic. Great tackler. There we go again. You see Keevan's ability to extend a play and get that extra yardage, yards after contact.
And that's got to help the offensive line, knowing he's always going to try to beat that first tackle.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Here's Austin Schoenlieber. Get a little roll out to Harrison Smith there, setting us up in the red zone again. So again, our first quarter, we came out and executed very, very effective. You know, just proud of the way our guys. I mean, it's an emotional game, and for them to not let the emotions make them sloppy. You know, we've had that before. We've seen that before, where you're so pumped that you're not able to execute. That was Julius over the top making a sideline tackle on a jet sweep. I just say the kid, he's a Mike linebacker, but he can play sideline to sideline. A little technical difficulty there. Gene Beckwith, senior strong safety, coming up with a nice tackle there on quick screens, a big part of their offense, and getting a stop. Sorry about this, give you a little slow motion look at it here, but you can see just some of the moves by Keevan. Again, that's Tristan, and I believe maybe Cooper Booth working downfield there. So, you know, those blockers did a good job throughout the night of working at the second level.
Okay, big game.
Yeah.
Go into halftime on the plus side of a big score.
Yeah.
How do you keep them as focused in that second half?
Well, you know, we try to stress, no matter the opponent, you know, hey, it's a 4-quarter game. We got to come in, you know, we got to come back out of this locker room ready to go. And, you know, our big message at halftime the other night was to come out and, you know, stay, you know, very disciplined, assignment oriented. And then, of course, we come out and we put the ball on the ground. So we gave some momentum back to New Hanover right there in the third quarter and really set ourselves up for a battle in the second half. So. We had a chance there, I felt, to extend our lead, and we just couldn't do it. So,
talk a little bit about, you now get a bye week. That falls in pretty good after a very emotional Friday night. No
doubt about it. Schedule sets up very, very good to have a bye week right after the huge county rivalry game. So, gives us a chance to get 100% healthy. I think we should be fully loaded going into next week. So,
okay. When we come back, we'll take a look at the game from the other sideline. Stay with us. Back to the program. Let's swing over to the New Hanover sideline. Hoggard Hanover, they have a strong first half where they take care of some mistakes. But then you come back in the second half and, you know, show a lot of character.
Well, I tell you, our kids, I think 99.9% of the population, you know, in a rival game like that, I know in the games, being there, this is my 9th year, I think either way, if the first half went the way it went, you'd roll over and die, and they'd probably put up 21, 28 more points and be done with it. But our kids come back, felt like if we didn't play the way we need to play there in the beginning, I think we don't have a lot of confidence right now. I mean, we've lost 4 ball games. This junior senior class, when they were on JV, went undefeated. They're not used to losing, and right now they know how many players we've lost, injuries, and our schedule didn't allow us to have a lot of confidence either. You know, we haven't had that one game that we could go out there and just put it on somebody and get some confidence, and so that showed in the first half. You know, we talked before we went on air, we got a lot of guys that, holy smoke, that was the biggest stage they've ever been in their life, and their eyes were about that big around, and that showed in the first half. In the second half, we kind of settled down and just started playing, but it was a little too late.
Okay, we're going to take a look at the highlights then if we can. Hoggard and Hanover, and we pick it up.
Everybody thought that was Malachi Mosley, number 46, on the motion right there, but that was Rashawn Johnson. Bats right here, good long run, fumbles it. We're excellent at that, but he actually recovers it. You know, Coach Underwood showed on his highlights, and our offensive lineman, he didn't get out of the end zone. I wish they had ruled it as the safety, and that'd have been 2 points instead of what ended up being 7. And I think that could have been huge. But we've got, I think, 24 turnovers now for the year. This is second half action. Defensively, I felt like our kids just settled down and started playing Wildcat football and did a good job. That's sophomore Keegan Santos. We've got quite a few of those guys out there, and they just continue to get better and better. The offensive line that we have playing now, we'll have about all of them back but 2 for a couple years. Now that's still first half action. That's Garrett Walston on a little reverse pass, and he showed his arm. He's got a cannon. Him and Burke Estes, when they were freshmen, we flipped a quarter to start the season to see who would get this first snap, and we rotated them the whole year. Defensively, what we've ended up doing with our personnel, and Coach was right, their offensive line did a tremendous job. I thought they executed it probably as well as any Hoggard team that we've played. They've had some kids over the years that, you know, with Cooper, and I still feel like the age boy was probably the best offensive lineman I've seen in Wilmington in the 9 years I've been here. But their offensive line always does a good job. But I thought they executed probably Friday night as well as I've seen them. And right here, defensively, we started playing and got some stops and 3 and outs, and kept them from moving. Nakima Walker, last year he was very athletic, but he wasn't very physical. But this year he's getting more and more physical, and just a tremendous talent. And got to find him a place to play after he finishes here. While the highlights are running, we're eating space here, watching in between, and let Ward change the blocking schemes and tell them, hey, they're sending 50, and hopefully y'all can block 4 of them, and maybe one of them won't kill me. But got to talk to Coach Braswell before the game and after the game, and that was special. It was good to see him. I had a parent that wanted to come after me after the game. We got back to 13th and Ann, and so I got back upstairs and was trying to think of something positive. You lose to Hoggard, you're 2-4, and I got a crazy person wanting to come after you. And so I texted Coach Braswell, and that was a positive, seeing him on the other side. And after all he's gone through, that was awesome. Moved it down there, a little fake screen to Rashawn, and we ended up punching it in there. We got it. They put up 25 in the first half, and we got down and put 15, and had 2 more drives and stalled and couldn't put points on the board and lost by 10. But again, the kids defensively, we kept on battling. I'm sure they're glad that they're having an open week. They got to be pretty sore because we actually hit them pretty hard in the second half. Unfortunately for us, we don't get an open date. Our open date's first game of the year, and we've got to get some guys back. If we get guys back, if this group will get ticked off and come together, kind of pick their heads up. Right now, we're kind of feeling sorry for ourselves.
Go one of 2 ways.
Yep. And if they'll come together, I wouldn't want to see us in the playoffs. And I know a lot of folks in Wilmington, North Carolina, think I'm arrogant and think I'm an idiot. And there's all that good stuff. I'm just me. And honestly, we've got a very good football team. And if they'll come together, we're going to get some other guys back. And I think we got a chance to make some noise.
Okay, you mentioned you don't have an off week. You have Ashley
Yep.
at home.
Yep.
message during practice this week?
The biggest thing for us is what we just talked about. Where we're going to go. Are y'all going to get ticked off? You're going to pick your head up and let's get this thing rolling. Let's continue to get better. Play the way we're capable of playing for 4 quarters, not the third quarter and the fourth quarter, and get this thing rolling. Continue to get better, and hopefully we get some of those guys back and get healthy and going into the playoffs. And who knows? The way it always falls, we always seem to see Hoggard again. If that's the case, then if you take their starting right tackle, their starting right guard, and their starting left guard, and Kevin off the field just from offense, that's a different ball game. And then with our 2 linebackers, corner and a safety, and I don't think people understand that. But when you're 2 and 4, I'm the biggest idiot that walks on the face of the earth, and that's on me, and I got to fix it.
Okay. Legion, this coming Friday night, 7:30 kickoff. Ashley at New Hanover. And speaking of Ashley, we'll take a look at the Screaming Eagles when we come back. Swinging over to Ashley if we can now, and Coach, you talk about building, taking those steps. I know defensively, a good game on Friday night.
Oh yes, defensively, just looking at the statistics, we had a good game, a winnable game, from 13 points to a little over 200 yards of offense, which is what Topsail had. They had a short field on a couple possessions. We only had 2 turnovers, which is, again, one more positive thing. No fumbles. And so we're taking steps, and it just didn't show up on the scoreboard for us.
Let's talk a little bit about, we talk about the physical drills. You're also in a situation with this game, with this team, as you try to build the program, you're also dealing with that mental side too, where they've got to just keep taking that next step.
Right, and that, that's something. It's a life lesson, is what we call them. I always pick the coaches every Wednesday to give a life lesson after practice, and of course I'll do the last one for the season. And a big part of that is you have to keep working, and no matter what the situation is, no matter what the scoreboard says in life, as in the football game on Friday night, you got to keep working towards a common goal, and that's what we keep preaching to them.
Okay, let's take a look at some highlights then if we can. It is Topsail at Ashley, and every possession, every score meant a lot.
Every possession did, and they ended up, and I showed a couple positives, and Topsail did a really good job. Coach Inman's a good friend, good coach, and does a really good job with his team. And right here, we had 3rd down and 9, and they scramble out. We do everything right, had everybody covered, and they pick up the 1st down. So that's kind of how our season's been going. We'll do some really good things, but then have a breakdown, and they pick up a 1st down there. But real proud of our linebackers. Our linebackers is probably the strongest part of our defense. And Coach Smith, our defense coordinator, does a great job with those guys, and just teaching them every day fundamental drills and so forth. And then, of course, most of the highlights here are defensive highlights, because we did play a good defensive football game. For a high school football, we did a good job. And we probably played as good as we have all year, to be honest with you. It's just offensively, we just couldn't get it done, and we had a difficult time getting 1st downs. And I credit Topsail on that, of course, too. But it was kind of a grinded out game, both sides. It was over in a hurry. I think like 9:40 or something like that, the game was over. Both sides only threw the ball about 6 or 8 times apiece and that kind of thing. And here's a couple plays where we got a goal line stand. We also had a turnover in the end zone. And just did some good things. Our linebackers making plays again. And that's behind our defense. We have a 3-3 stack defense. We have 5 linebackers, and we want them to make plays. The 3 guys up front. Here's a great job by Russell Corbett, our nose tackle. He's such a good football player, and he's finally, we pick at him, he's finally gotten in shape, and he's making plays from sideline to sideline. He's doing a great job for us. Real proud of him. And offensively, like I said, we had a tough time. We made a few plays here. I want to show this. This is a nice throw from a sophomore quarterback to a sophomore wide receiver, and and we're not cashing in on the year or anything like that. But I like to emphasize, we do have a young football team in key positions. Here's a fake punt. I'm glad Coach Montsinger's gone. I know he's already seen it on film, but that generated one of our 1st downs, and that's a matter of our up back counting, and then he gets the signal from the sideline whether to run the fake or not, and it worked out for us there.
Bottom line, your, next step is to put one good play after another good play,
right,
after that next good play.
Exactly, and we preach this. And I actually got this saying from Coach Turner, our athletic director, is win the play you're on. And that's what we try to do. We try to win that play, and then that'll equate to a series, equate to a half, a game, etc. And that's all we're preaching to them, and they know that. And it's been frustrating for all of us, obviously. And we've struggled some, but we just keep preaching that and keep hammering the nail and keep working and fighting hard.
We heard it from Laney as far as the cooperation, the cohesion between JV and varsity. I know you're building the same thing to get everybody on the same page.
Right, exactly. Our JV has a winning record, and they're on a 4-game win streak right now, doing a great job. The coaches down there are doing a super job with those kids, and again, just trying to build a winning mentality. And they're doing everything that we do offensively, defensively. They're running the same thing, so all that's been good, and we're real proud of what they're accomplishing.
Okay, at Hanover. On Friday.
Right, going to be tough just because we can't match up with them across the board. I know they're banged up, and I know Coach Mottsinger does a great job there and those guys. And so, we know them well. We see them, obviously we trade film, so we've studied them up, and we're going to try some things. We don't have anything to lose, so we're going to play hard and get after them.
Okay, that's the game in town this coming Friday. Ashley at Legion against Hanover, 7:30 kickoff. Hoggard is off. And again, Laney heads up the road to take on Topsail. We'll see you next time right here on Sports Roundtable. Good night, everybody.